Today we're diving into the wilderness with Tara Hunt and Eddie Ramos, the dynamic duo behind Kayaking Adventures of Tennessee. Discover their incredible journey from working regular jobs to building a business that allows them to live life to the fullest through kayaking trips that provide adventure and a unique opportunity for personal transformation. With key insights for anyone thinking of turning their passion into a living, you won't want to miss this. This is Career Chats with Katie and Robin.
Welcome, Tara and Eddie. We are so excited to have you on Career Chats today.
Thank you for having us.
To begin, why don't you tell us what you do and what a typical day on the job looks like?
So we are owner and operators of Kayaking Adventures of Tennessee. We are a guided kayak trip to Burgess Falls in Sparta, Tennessee. So we not only run the business, but we also go out and guide during the trips.
That sounds like fun.
I have been stalking every single Instagram photo because it looks amazing. So what does a typical day look like?
We got to pack everything up bright and early in the morning, and we head out to our parking lot where we meet everybody, and then we'll go over some brief things in the parking lot, and then we get on our way to the launch, which is just 2 miles down the road. And then we kayak it's 2 miles down the river, but it takes us about an hour and 20 minutes because we go really slow. We encourage people to explore, look at the wildlife, ask questions about things they find along the way. There's a lot of history out there. We give a history lesson at the end, but it gives them opportunity to think of things to ask during the history. Then we get out there and we spend about 2 hours at the waterfall.
Oh, it's 2 hours at the waterfall.
It gives them a lot of time to relax and play or sleep on a rock or whatever they want to do while they're there.
Awesome. So how did you find yourself doing this job? What propelled you to this work?
I think it's 2016, 2017. I was working at Nissan here in Smyrna, Tennessee. I was still trying to pull my life together, and I didn't have a whole lot of extra money to do anything with. So one thing that you don't need money to do really is hike to a state park and spend a day there. So I found myself doing that with my son. It led me eventually to Burgess Falls State Park. In 2015, the steps to the bottom of a waterfall had closed. The one thing I was good at was reading maps. I think that's the only thing I learned during my years of school. And I found my way to the bottom of Burgess, and then I started taking one person at a time, another person. I became the go-to person if you needed to know anything about Burgess Falls. This wasn't a commercial activity back then. It was just me trying to get people to go out with me. This one friend of mine on Facebook, he lives in Arkansas. He was like, man, I go to cruises all the time and pay for what you're doing. He says, you need to turn it to a business. And I was like, I don't know about that. But when Corona hit in 2020, we got furloughed from Nissan in March. I decided then to go ahead and turn it to a business. I bought a trailer. I bought a couple more kayaks off Marketplace and started charging $25 a piece. About 3 weeks later, Tara came on my trip. She seen it posted on like Middle Tennessee hiking group, and a lady had came with me and said she didn't die.
I figured it was safe for a single lady to go.
After that, we turned it into an LLC together, and we've grown it to what it is now.
Wow.
It wasn't something that we forced.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
You mentioned the LLC and you mentioned getting a trailer. So what kind of requirements were necessary for you to pull this together?
The most important thing, but one of the things that a lot of people neglect is wherever you're going to do a guided service or like a trip, you have to see whose property that is and ask permission and follow their guidelines and rules. It's like if it's Army Corps of Engineers property, go contact the manager, make sure it's okay to do what you want to do, and also learn all the rules so you know you can have a working relationship with them and not a head-to-head relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We had already known the area really well. We had been out there for a long time, and it used to be a lot different. It used to look a lot different. There used to not be parking lots, and so there were different regulations and rules back then. And so as it's grown, we've just paid attention and kept in contact with everyone we need to be contacted. So we actually need three different permissions, and one is a permit to be out there. So we're on Army Corps land. TWRA does the waterway, and then we're actually at the bottom of Burgess Falls, so that's the state park. So we have to have permission to be there. Plus, we have to have a liability insurance, and then we have chosen to have certifications. So a lot of places do not have certifications of any kind. We have chosen to do that. Being out there every day, we know what it takes to keep our people safe and the things that we see out there. So we end up treating a lot of the general public and other things for first aid. We try to give give as much information as we can. We even have a place on our website for the general public that they can go if they're going on their own, so they know what to expect going out. As far as the equipment goes, we used to not have to have like the bus and everything that we have now. The Army Corps made a regulation where all outfitters had to transport. So then we had to get a parking lot, and then we have to transport everybody now. So we can only take a specific number of people because we have to transport, which is good. That's a good thing. And it makes it a lot more organized. But we went from meeting everybody down there and just needed like a Jeep and a trailer and kayaks to actually we needed a way to transport people.
So what would you say your favorite part of this work is? And of course, we have to ask, what's your least favorite part?
My favorite part is just you see people's lives changed out there. You see people leave stuff behind.
Wow.
And it's very emotional. And to be a part of that is really special.
We have many folks that come with us with burden on their shoulder, or maybe death they might be dealing with still, or something in that line. And when they come out there and experience the waterfall, it's almost like it cleanses you. This is our church out here. Nature, the waterfall is our church, and we're able to take 13 people every day and go have fellowship with them, eat lunch with them, and talk about each other's lives. We leave being a family.
If our listeners need to go look at their Instagram, because when I look at your pictures, it truly looks like just like what you described. Everybody's having so much fun. It's amazing. I feel like nature is just so like cleansing for the soul.
We even had someone from the general public leave us a comment, and they said, you know, we saw your trip out there, and all those pictures that we see on your Facebook page, on your Instagram, on your website, they're true to what's going on out there.
What type of personality do you think you need to kind of thrive in like that day-to-day environment that you guys do? If someone's thinking, I want to be adventure, I want to be in nature, what can you tell them?
You've got to be very outgoing. You got to be willing to talk to people from every walk of life and love all people. Be excited when people are there and actually love what you do. That's the most important, that you got to love what you do.
Right.
Somebody said, find what you would do for free and make that your career.
That's basically what we did.
I love that.
That's perfect.
As long as it's something they're passionate about and they're willing to put in the hours, because it is a lot of hours. I mean, for us to run it, we're going morning to night, 7 days a week. So you got to be willing to do that and be on top of it every single day. Still can't make everybody happy, but you try your very best. And then you got to make sure you're in a place where they allow it, because not everybody does. Just like the state parks, a lot of them don't allow you to do any commercial activity in the parks. Some parks don't allow that, or you have to have special permits or things like that. So that's really important to make sure you can do it where you're trying to. But there's a lot of places, especially even around here, that the rivers are like, please, somebody set it up an outfitter here. We can't get anybody to come to our town and be an outfitter. There's a lot of places like that. So if you search them out, you'll find them.
Do it for the right reason. That's something big you could tell somebody young. I always say there's a good and a bad at everything. And if you choose money, I'm not saying that's the devil, and I'm not saying that's bad, but if you're chasing happiness, or if you're chasing to make people feel better, if you're doing it for that reason, you'll be much happier than chasing money.
Right. You want whatever you do to be rewarding in some way. So do you think there's going to be more or less opportunities for this type of work?
We know there's plenty more opportunities, because we had some Chamber of Commerce's, some tourism boards that reached out to us because they were wanting more tourism in their area. So there's always opportunity for other people.
There's places that want you. You just got to look for them.
Yeah.
So is this something you guys plan on doing forever, or is there an obvious next step for you down the road?
I think we'll do it as long as we can. We don't plan to expand ever. We don't want to hire employees and things like that. We like the one-on-one that we get. We like that we only do one trip a day. We only do 13 people on that trip. So we don't plan to expand beyond that. So we'll do that as long as we can, as possible.
Money's not our goal here. Our goal is just to live every day at Burgess Falls. That's where we want to be. I know my knee will get bad one day and her hip will be bad one day. When that time comes, we'll deal with it then, and hopefully we'll still be blessed then, and those things will come together. But like right now, we have no other plans.
Well, it seems to be working. It looks like your trips are so personalized, and you guys obviously have so much fun. So beyond getting paid for this, what type of benefits do you see having a career like this? I know you've said how rewarding it is already, but anything else that we haven't touched on that you find such a good benefit?
Well, if somebody actually went into this career and they were trying to make a profit from it. I mean, there are places that you can expand to and do multiple places, and that's all a possibility. It just depends on what you want.
One thing for me is that I worked for factories for all my life until 2020 when I went full-time doing this. What I get from it is being our own boss. Besides, we do report to the Army Corps of Engineers, we do report to the TWRA, we do report to the Burgess Falls State Park Rangers. But for me reporting to them, I really respect them. They worked hard to be in the positions they're in. They're qualified, they're educated, and I respect them. Where I'm at now is I love being our own boss, being able to do the best we can to provide the best trip. And we got that down pat.
Is there anything else you'd like our listeners to know about the work you do, starting their own business, anything at all?
You just got to be able and willing to put in a lot of time. If you want to do your own business, you can't just expect to do 40 hours a week and be done if you want it to be a good business.
That's great. Well, you guys have been so awesome. And I feel like Robin and I need to take a trip down to Tennessee and go on an adventure. Tara and Eddie, thank you so much for being here today. This was so great and we really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Thank y'all.
Career Chats is hosted by Katie Huddleston and Robin Coney. Show notes and guest info can be found on our website, careerchats.show. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love you to subscribe and share this podcast with your friends. Until next time, stay curious.